Hey, this is Crow Inquisitors, and we are back for episode 57 of the game. And I'm very excited because we're rapidly approaching the end of the penultimate arc. I'm imagining there will be one more substantial arc after this, like, conflict is resolved. We still have to deal with, like, the artifacts and the order and the war, and I mean, technically all of the threads are still going to be active. Harbingers won't be defeated after this. It's just, a penultimate sort of leading towards the end arc that we're finishing right now. And then we'll be able to pivot towards the end, which will be fun. So let's go ahead and do beliefs and instincts and whatnot before we get started here. Cantarius, what are your beliefs, my friend? As your child climbs all over you.
This world is more than blood and gold. I will escape the demon realm. My fellow demon hunters are my only friends. I will reunite the party. The demon lord must be defeated. I will start by thwarting his plans to kill me and Theo.
Nice. And all of your instincts and traits remain the same. So
yeah,
I'll probably just keep going. Dellon, what do you got for beliefs?
Oops, I don't have my character sheet up. I was watching a slime simulation for Unreal 5. But it's like actually got a face. Like it's a slime moving around, like a monster slime. Yeah. It's adorable. Anyways,
it's whatever his name is from Eugene from Nebula Jazz.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I may not have all the answers, but I know the one who does. I will help Theo decide who deserves his prayers. I have been given a new station and will do my best to fill the duties that it confers. HEO is given charge of this group of healers, and she must be restored to life so that she can lead them. Alfons and I have come a long way since our childhood. I will ensure Alfons' healing is completed, which I guess, recompleted? I don't know.
It never got completed. It got interrupted, so, yeah.
But as soon as we start again, we'll win, right? Because let it ride. I guess the person who rolled died. So maybe not.
No, well, it never got rolled. Yeah. We talked about the dice that she would have on the roll, and she never made the roll.
Do you remember?
And I did that intentionally because I knew it would probably be interrupted.
I thought we did. Okay.
No. We added up all the dice and knew exactly how many dice she would be rolling. But
okay.
Wait, so she didn't make the faith roll?
She did not make the faith roll yet. Yeah.
Oh, I thought she succeeded and then died.
I thought so too, but
no, we talked about her maybe like sacrificing herself to get off the prayer or whatever, but she decided not to spend her persona and just die instead because it's more dramatic for the story that way.
Yeah. On my blade of my life, I shall hold the enemies of God at bay. I will root out this corruption within the church, as Sergio should have years ago, referring to the people we're stabbing currently. Maria and I are working to protect Ceran.
Those are your inactive ones. I just
Oh, thank you. I wondered why I had an extra
just so you could save it for later.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah. So real quick before we move on, actually that might be a good idea. Well, no, never mind. I had an idea, and then it was less interesting to me, so we're going to move on.
Okay.
Cool. Did you have anything else to say there, David? Or?
Oh, no, I thought we were reading instincts, so I was about to...
I think we'll just do beliefs. Okay. We're rapidly running out of time for things, so want to make sure we have... I think everyone knows, no one's changed their instincts in quite a while, so I think we're good. Alfons, your beliefs.
Change in leadership wasn't enough to stem the tide of corruption in the church. The whole institution needs to be torn down. I will start by destroying the evil that Sergio has employed. The god of war is a threat to my home, so his power must be stolen. To do so, I need the orb out of my chest. The Harbingers will destroy the world, and they must be stopped. They may have Theo...
They may have made Theo.
They may have made Theo into their pawn, so I will determine if he can be trusted.
Cool. And then, last but not least... the pawn, Theo.
Man of 1,000 lives, or 10,000.
Yeah. Man of 10,000 lives. Yeah.
I must transcend the godhood to protect those I love. I will bring Asia back from the death. There are no gods, only demons. I need power to save Asia. I will determine if the great god is what I've been seeking after all along. I'm being torn between two paths, but I will fight beside my friends. I will help them defeat Constantino.
Nice. And part of that will be escaping the demon realm, so you can even do that in the first place. So
yeah.
All right, cool. So we begin with a shot of, and I don't remember exactly when this was happening. I think it was later in the day that this was all going down. So I think maybe we see the sun setting, right? We see like golden hour, and as this evening and dusk is entering Lucerta, we see Ipina and her son, her like 3 or 4-year-old son, Luca, kind of tiptoeing out of their manor with like a few possessions in some bags, and they're trying to escape. Dellon wasn't able to pursue that belief to like help them do so, but they're, we already established that this was something she was going to try. So we see her try, sneak out of their manor and head towards the city gates. And this is like the opening credit sequence. We're getting some of the theme music being played, or some dramatic music as we're getting various shots of like things that had happened last. But the main kind of centerpiece of this little sequence is the 2 of these people, is Ipina and her son, heading towards the city gate. But they're intercepted, right? So we see them. They're walking down a mostly deserted street, and a man steps out from like an alleyway, and it's Faustus. And Faustus, takes a couple of steps till he's kind of like center into the street and directly confronting them, and he says, "I think it's a little bit premature to be leaving so soon, don't you, Messiah of Lucerta?" And then we just get a close-up on Luca's face as his eyes widen, his little boy eyes widen, and then we cut, and we just know as the players that they didn't make it out, and instead Faustus has them. And yeah. So we cut to Dellon and Alfons. The last thing, so I think we pick up with a crumpled, gory. So I just finished watching Invincible season 1 again, and all I can imagine is that level of gore from Aechia's body, because it was literally imploded from, like, he crushed all of her bones and crumpled her into like a tin can. Like, it is a mess to look at.
Is there like blood splattered like onto them?
Well, yeah, I mean, they were like right next to the altar, so I think the altar of the great god is like all just like desecrated by this.
So what part of her spending a point to not die and resulted in her being a gore pile?
So you left before we retcon something, because it was far more interesting for the narrative for her to actually be dead, for Theo's sake, so that she has to do a miracle to resurrect her. I decided to have her not spend that persona that she had.
Isn't it the same
just die?
Difficulty level? Isn't it still just a major miracle?
It is still a major miracle, but in basically what the issue is, if she had spent a persona on like a mortal wound or whatever, to live, then she'll come back no matter what. She just needs treatment of any kind, right? According to the rules. So in this version, right, like for example, what's his face, Siegfried died without any persona, and the only way he was able to come back is through a major miracle, which he did, and he came back. So that's the one thing that can actually raise someone from the dead after you've died from a mortal wound and have not spent a persona point on it. So
interesting.
So I just thought it was way more interesting if that's the only way she can be brought back, because it perfectly dovetails into Theo's beliefs and stuff. So, and to be fair, I haven't been like concretely tracking NPCs, Artha. I just kind of decide when I just, they should have persona. So I could even just say that she ran out of persona at some point because she was doing things in the background, so it's fine. GM Fiat.
Trump card.
Yeah, exactly. A little slip of paper. I can do what I want.
I have it.
But yeah, so we see that body, right? Yeah, I have a permit. That's the line. Yeah. We see that body.
Inquisitors.
I have a permit. Yeah, we see Aechia's crumpled corpse next to the altar. Alfons. I think just when we left that, there wasn't a whole lot that happened. Dellon was running towards Constantino, got intercepted by Furio, zombie Hulk Furio. Dellon took a swing at him, hit, but then only got his helmet, which then I think got destroyed.
It just damaged it.
Yes, that's what I remember looking this up in between, and I think I initially described it as just like falling off, but yes, it just loses a die, I believe, is how that works.
Right.
Yeah. So that is what's happening there. So you've dented his helmet even further, but he's not dead. And then Alfons was attempting to stop Constantino from attacking Asia, because he succeeded on an empathy test to determine that's what he was going to do. And he actually succeeded on hitting the guy. But Constantino succeeded a ridiculously unlikely steel test and didn't flinch at all. And then just did it anyway. So I believe that's where we left off. I don't think a whole lot more happened because we cut back to Cantarius and Theo, and their stuff took a little bit longer. But so what's the next bit here? I mean, I've also neglected to describe that Min and Yuma are in the room, and can help. We'll just say that they failed their steel test up to now or something, or whatever. Even if they were with you helping Dellon, I don't know if anything would have changed about your roles, right? So
I don't think so.
Yeah. So I guess what do you think, David? Where should they be in the scene right now? Just as we zoom back in on it, like would Dellon have been talking to them too, since they're the other people's swords, to get them to do something in particular?
Yeah, well, Dellon's trying to get to Constantino, especially now.
Here's an easy way of at least getting rid of them for the last exchange that we had. Is, let's say that after Constantino and Furio came in, a bunch of church guards that are like more on Sergio's side for whatever branch were flanking him and fighting you guys as well. And so Min and Yuma were taking them out. And we can basically just hand wave that and just say that they have taken them out, or more or less. Well, actually, probably more interesting if they're still there, because otherwise you're going to be able to instantly tag team Furio and maybe get a bunch of hits on him.
Right.
So yeah, let's say that that's what's happening, is they're fighting those guys, and so we can go from there.
Okay.
So Dellon, Alfons, what do you guys want to do? We're not really going in a particular turn order, so whatever narratively makes the most sense for.
Well, I imagine I'm closest to Constantino because he was like.
No, you didn't move, right? Because you just were using magic on him from a distance.
I thought he came up to what's her face.
No, he didn't have to do it from. He could do it from a distance. Yeah.
Right.
He basically did the destroy with sorceress fire option from that. That stuff. Yeah. So I think like here, let me draw a bad map. So this is
regardless,
the altar.
Alfons is going to because he mad.
This is Achia.
Big mad.
This is her body, right? That big A there, and then I think you were like right next to her, so like that's F for Alfons. Because A is already taken by Achia. And then I'm imagining we have a bunch of the followers that were here, the like faith healers that Dellon got together, have just scattered to other parts of the cathedral and just running away. I think there's probably some of them still like over in this general area, because they failed their steel test and chose to like stand or drool or swoon or something.
Yeah.
And then Dellon, actually, let's say Yuma and Min are over here fighting another group of like Inquisitorial Guard or something. And then Dellon is right here fighting Furio, which we'll do with an R. And Constantino is like over here.
Is he the blue squiggle?
He's the C.
Oh.
I don't know who did the blue squiggle.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah, and technically, blue squiggle probably is like at the side room where Cantarius and Theo's bodies are currently. They're off in the side room to the left. So that's kind of our situation there. I don't know who
the best map we've ever. The best map we've ever had.
Thank you. Cool. So what is the plan here? We're just doing Dellon tries to hit Furio or what?
I mean, I'm still trying to get to Constantino if I can.
Are you willing to like open yourself up to getting hit though?
Well,
do
I
that?
figured once I clonked him in the head, that I would try and use that moment to slip past him and see if I can. I probably don't need to hit Constantino too many times because he's unarmored. So I'm just trying to get over there and end that. And I'm hoping, I mean, Furio
Yeah.
probably won't stop attacking me, but
Yeah, I was gonna say
everyone
I
else
don't
will be in
think
much less danger.
because the wording of it is like it completely negates the wound. I don't believe they have to make a steel test to resist, like to deal with being hit on their armor. I don't believe that's
Probably
the case.
not, but I did hit him in the
Yeah.
face with a sword anyways. So it's
I
still,
know that's what's like. I think if I was just deciding purely on narrative, it probably would be a steel test. But also, let's keep in mind he is literally like a Hulk zombie thing.
Right.
So he probably doesn't care about that.
Well, and mostly I just want to try and get past him. It's okay if
Yeah.
it's a roll or whatever.
Mhm.
But
Sure, yeah, I'm thinking it's a speed test. If you succeed the speed test, he doesn't like he'll take an attack of opportunity on you, but miss, right? Because you get too quickly out of his range. If you fail the speed, like the opposing speed test, then he'll get a chance to hit you, and then you'll have to like defend yourself. Yeah. What is the avoid action and fight? Because actually, yeah, I
just
think
a defense against a strike that can also avoid a feint, I think, or something. Yeah.
Well, because I think it's possible that what we're actually just doing here is doing whatever. Yeah, it's avoid tests your speed, and then it's a versus the skill, and I believe it counts as a skill for the purposes of the action, even though it's a stat. I think that's probably what we'll just do. We'll zoom in as far as we can go here without actually doing a fight, and just do.
Yeah. Although if that's the case, I won't do it because I'll get like half as many dice and get killed. So
That's true.
I'd probably just
Never receptors does not protect. Blah 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 blah.
Well, how does it work in a fight if I'm fighting somebody and then I want to fight somebody different because everything's one-on-ones and there's
you have to disengage. Which is like a whole thing. Let me take a look and see if there's a thing for that real quick. I won't just spend too much time on this, but I'll see if I can look up this one thing. Because I think how we just described it works fine. But if there's something that makes more sense, as in rolling speed tests, and then either he does get to strike and then you can block it or not. But I think that's what's meant to be dangerous about trying to just dodge or like run away, is like they're just still swinging at you. Oh, here we go. Disengage. You test speed at +1 die, plus advantages from stride and positioning advantage. You must win the test. If you're successful, you retreat out of range of your opponent's attack. He may not act against you. You may not blah 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 blah. If you fail to disengage, your opponent places you at his best advantage. Yeah, I think that's what you're doing. Yeah.
So it doesn't really change anything because we're using the same weapon, but
no. Well, so you will get a +1 die. Because it's easier.
No, I mean if I am placed at his best advantage, then I'm also at my best advantage because we're using the same weapon. So it seems kind of weird.
True, but like I think maybe for the purposes of this, we can just give him a +1 die just because he's intercepted you and maybe gotten you flat-footed or something, right? Like you're just in a general narrative sense. That's probably a fun way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that. I'll give you the +1 die that it says here. You probably have the same. You have the same stride as him. But yeah, I'll give you +1 die to it. And then there, if you fail, he'll have to make a separate roll, right, to hit you. But he will give a +1 die advantage because he caught you, right, trying to run away.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
And you can fork stuff into this then, since it counts as a skill.
Yeah. Okay. Or no, I think the only thing it says is it doesn't have the double obstacle penalty. He's rolling speed in response though. That's what I'm just going to do here.
I see. Okay.
I'm just having the first thing is just speeds.
Okay.
Versus each other. So.
All right, but I make it with +1, and actually
yes, you get a +1 die.
Roll, so.
I mean, I don't know if you have time to.
No, I did that at the beginning of the fight.
You did it at the beginning, right? Yes. You're right. I'm glad you remembered that. I certainly didn't.
Submit.
Cool.
Submit.
Well, here, do you want to wait for me to make the roll? Because then you have to. Oh, no, it's fine. Then you just know the
That
ob
was
that
pretty
you
good.
possibly get. All right, cool. So, fine.
I'll just
Yeah,
do
you
it
failed that.
again with the.
It's a difficult test for you. So,
You sure?
or no, because you had advantage dice, right? Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
Yep. So, just routine.
Okay, so I use the moment where I clip his helmet to slip around him.
Yeah, so he's like
Aang
maybe
style,
like
except
yeah,
with armor.
you dented it a little bit. He's stumbling to the side, and then you just like slip past him and rush towards Constantino. Which you can do no problem. So that's happening with Dellon. What is Alfons doing during the same moment?
I mean, he's probably just charging Constantino too. He's mad. You big man.
Sounds good. So yeah, I think it's possible that like you'll be intercepted by Furio as he's stumbling one way.
No.
So let's have you make a speed test versus that speed test he just made.
Oh,
with
you
the
can
2.
teleport.
Oh, that's true. You can just teleport instead. But you do know there is a Furio in between you and Constantino.
Yeah. What was his speed thing?
2.
Well, if I roll teleport, that doubles then, right?
If you roll teleport,
think-
you teleport, right?
Yeah,
Well, it's a skill against a stat.
well, I don't know if it's a versus test though per se. If you're just teleporting there, because the only reason he
Yeah,
would
it's just
be
you using
versus
magic,
you,
right?
yeah, the only reason he would be against you is if you're going into his threatened area,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like according to D&D stuff, he wouldn't even know you're trying to do anything because he's focusing on Dellon unless you run towards him, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to teleport to Constantino, you can do that.
What's the ob to just teleport 2 feet?
I mean, it's a little bit further than 2 feet, but it's like the other side of the cathedral. But yeah.
Yeah.
Let me.
And
check.
also, I imagine if there are no stakes, you teleport for free and get no tests.
Exactly. But I think like the stakes here is like it's a tense situation,
Right.
You
I
know, he's fumbled with
felt
magic
his.
before.
I teleport 2 feet for 100 days straight coming on. So
Yeah, fair enough.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, you'd only get routine tests, which I don't even think he needs anymore. So
then he'd start teleporting 4 feet.
yeah. Okay, let's see.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll speed. I don't care.
Well, no, so it's spatial action is just or spatial discipline. Yeah, I think actually the easiest way to do it is to do.
I succeeded.
Okay, there you go. I was gonna say.
I didn't want to be caught up on the rules.
I was gonna say the only thing that I think we would have just ruled there is it would just have been as if you were making that speed test, except with spatial discipline instead.
Okay.
So, but either way, yeah, you succeeded. So yeah, you just rush past him. Maybe Alfons, we see you at the beginning of this episode, right? Like staring at Aichia's corpse, and then we see you get angry. You know, clench your fists, your grip over your sword, and then charge. And you have like the normal, you have the run of the mill sword, right? Because you switched swords with Dellon.
Oh, you know what? I don't have any sword.
Mm.
I'm gonna create.
You're correct.
Can I create one on my way to sprinting towards Constantino?
I mean, I still technically have
yes.
my original one. You could like teleport up next to me and like draw it out of my scabbard and keep going. That'd be cool.
That is true. You could try something like that.
You know, retcon. I'm gonna teleport. Next.
Well, I mean, you already succeeded this speed test, so we can just describe you running, and then you use your teleport.
Yeah, but David got
to
5 speed successes. I want to get there at the same time.
I was also closer than him originally, but I mean, it's fine. It doesn't matter to me. You can just pretend that you teleport some.
Jared, if you really care about getting there before Dellon, then I suppose you could change your action, but seems unnecessary to me.
I mean, I'm fine with you getting there at the same time as me.
I need a teleportation, but
yeah, it's fine.
So
I do it.
Do what? Do what?
I teleport instead of running.
Oh, instead of running. Okay. Yeah, I think it would have been against that same obtu. But yeah, you succeed anyway.
Except ob one because it's a stat.
No, obtu because I think in this particular circumstance, this is how the fight rules do it anyway. It's speed counts as a skill because it's like it's just the thing that's standing in for your ability as a good combatant to like maneuver in combat, and it shouldn't be penalized, right?
I got
it. Yep. Cool. So You get there, no problem. Are you then going to try to grab the sword or whatever?
Sure.
Are you just like grabbing it from him or trying to teleport it from him? You're just grabbing it from Dellon's scabbard as you like teleport next to him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like how difficult is it to take a sword out of someone else's scabbard? Especially if it's like a 6 foot long sword.
Probably not. Oh, it wouldn't be 6 feet. That'd be like a great sword. I'd have to wear that on my back.
whatever Dellon's sword length would
be.
I mean, I don't think it would be that hard.
Yeah.
Well, Dellon is actively in combat, right, and moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was standing still, I don't think it would be that hard. But yeah, I mean, if you were moving enough faster than me that you could just continue moving forward, then it would just come out as you moved, and it wouldn't be that bad.
Like I time it so like right when you get to Constantino, I teleport like right behind you and like grab it like back to back.
As Dellon is closing the distance.
You.
Right.
Sorry, describe that again.
Like as you get to him and like are in like the moment of attack, I teleport behind you. Like we're back to back, and then I draw it and then do like a spin move around you, and we attack him at the same time.
Nice. That's awesome. Sure. So I think it probably makes the most sense to just have Dellon make this roll, because he has the gray shaded dice, and Alfons is just helping him.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what Constantino can put up a fight
You get 2 from my sword, and I'm gonna try and buff you, if that's cool.
I mean, it's cool with me. I don't know if it's cool with Caleb.
I'm not sure you have the time. Didn't you already do this?
Do what?
He
buff Dellon someone?
I did buff you. I don't know if it was for
let me check.
Because I know that I did one that gave me a +1 to sword and one that gave me a +1 to speed. Or no,
I see an essential discipline ob 4 right before Dellon's faith roll.
That I think that's just a roll then.
Because I remember I chose to give myself speed because I think you'd already given me a bonus to sword, and I can't remember what that was. But I think you rolled for the sword.
I also see a 6 and 5.
An ob 6 and 5?
6 successes versus 5 obstacle with essential discipline.
Okay,
what would the ob be to give me?
I think that's
dice
the scene then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was what you were doing. You were giving me sword dice for the scene.
It had the +1 disadvantage still, which I think you were going to take off with fate. So it was actually an op 4.
Okay, then that's for a roll then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was just for one roll. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought that was the case because I don't think you were going to try for something that high. I think when you got the ob.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think you have the time
That's fine.
to buff him again, especially if you did spatial discipline and stuff. So, yeah. So you can at the very least give Alfons some helping dice or Dellon some helping dice.
You have my sword.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Cool. So let me figure out what stuff is coming up here. Okay. I'm going to make his quick dice pool. So he's just going to try to like block you.
With what?
I mean, you'll see.
If it's magic, then I'm going to use 9 disciplines wise. That's why I say so.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. He's not rolling magic, but magic is going to be involved in what's happening.
Oh, he's going to summon a weapon.
Fine.
Yeah. Right.
No. You'll see. You'll see.
This is scaring me.
Yeah, I've planned this character for quite a while, so
can I use outnumbered wise since we outnumber him?
Sure, yeah.
Cool. All right. That's not originally how I meant that to work, but I realized it makes sense.
Fine. You know about outnumbered people.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, really bad.
Are we still doing intimidation? And we forked that in before, but
he's dead.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh wow, that 13 dice and he got 4.
That's a Connor level roll.
That's pretty awful. I know I used armored on the other guy, but he was wearing armor. I'm wearing armor. Does that still count? No,
I don't think so. Well, actually, because of his situation, yes.
Okay. think that's everything. Okay. Sword. So in this version of combat, what does having a higher reflexes do? Because I have five reflexes.
I'll give you a +1 die.
Sweet. All right.
Well, actually, let me check what his reflexes is.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
He has reflexes of 6, actually.
Wow, that's shocking. Okay.
He has spent a lifetime
That's
buffing
right.
his own
Yeah,
stats. So
I forgot about that. All right, but then I get 2 from Alfons. Cool. Wait, what is reflexes calculated from? Isn't it the average of agility and speed?
something like that.
Because I have
think it's
6 in both of those.
Let me check.
It must be something else that's bringing it down. Maybe perception. I only have 4 perception, but that's
I think it's perception, yeah. Here we go. Reflexes says, perception, agility, and speed rounded down, the average of those.
Oh, then I actually might have the same as him. Not that it matters, but I have +1 speed right now. So it would bring my total number up.
Well, I mean, go ahead and change it. Change it on the sheet and just see what happens. If you change it, if you up your speed by 1 actually in there.
Yeah, first I'm going to do this because I already have the roll in and it won't actually change anything. It'll just make us equal.
Yep.
Base obstacles 4.
Yes.
Right.
Nice.
Now hold on. Let me put my speed to 7 and see what happens. It does nothing. All right, never mind. Okay,
cool.
So my ad is like 1 or 2. I think I get it.
Yeah, you certainly get like the highest hit possible. Which for you
I think it's
is
usually 11 or 12. Because I think I usually get the highest one if you've done this math before. So the sword is...
It's 12. I see it right there. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a B12. It's in your sheet. So.
I can't remember my weapon. Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep. It has a versus armor of 1 because it's superior quality, which will matter here because he has the trait that lets his entire body be armor, basically.
Very cool.
So,
what happens if you... Is there a special section in that for what happens if you fail dice with that spell? Or like if is your armor gets damaged when it's your skin?
Yeah, I'm checking the trait right now. I haven't put it in there yet because I think it's in the codex. Brass skin. Brass skin is equivalent to plated mail armor covering the whole body. That's all it says, so I'm assuming it works exactly the same. Is it'll get damaged according to those rules. So plate. Wait, did it say full? Did I read full or just plate? What did I just read?
I think it's just regular.
Plated mail.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So what is? Do you have plated mail or full plate?
It's plated mail like a.
It's plated. Okay.
Right. So is that like a brigandine? Is that what that means?
Maybe.
It's like plate mail is plates, and chain mail is chains making up mail. And I think they just call it plate. I don't even know if it's technically called mail. And then there's like brigandine, which is a bunch of pieces of metal bolted together.
I think you can mix and match armor, but that's like a separate thing.
Right, that's true.
It's just assuming that you.
I just don't know if there's any difference in the dice. I guess, but yeah,
no idea. But yes. So where are you aiming? Let me take a look at what those rules are again. I believe it's like because you got so high of a roll, I think you can just choose.
Yeah, I never understood how that worked, or never looked into it. I mean, I guess. But I'll probably just aim at his face. I feel like that's probably the thing that makes the most sense.
Yeah, that's what I assumed you were doing. Yeah, here we go. Body targets. Oh, I see. This is how it works. So it's you only need, what is your ad? Your ad is 2.
Yes.
So it only takes 4 more successes to get it to a superb hit, and then you have plenty of successes after that to to aim somewhere else. Basically,
Oh, I see. Okay.
the defender chooses where he wants to get hit, and he'll choose torso because that makes the most sense.
Mhm.
It's the most armored.
And you use the success to
And-
move it, right? Or whatever.
And then you use, and then you can use extra successes from his attack roll. It costs 1 success to move from the torso to the arms or to the arms to any other location. So basically you can move from the torso to head with 1 more success. We have plenty of successes. See it. Okay, cool. Believe that's all that matters. So you do a B12 wound to him unless he can roll his armor dice.
Which is ob 2
I believe so.
because of the versus armor. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it does. Yep, it increases. We'll eventually know these rules by heart. All right, cool. So, oh yeah, I can roll it from the sheet itself. I forgot. There's a little spot for it. Constantino. All right, so he has 5 dice on his head. And then he's going to, weapons versus armor is 1. There you go. Yep. So
Wow. That was a really good roll.
it was.
Everybody got a 1.
He did. Okay, yes. So armored head. So I will put 1 damage on his head. So Dellon's just wailing on people's heads here, and it is not connecting yet.
I have a feeling this fight's going to take a while.
Yeah, it may until the thing is, if they fail 1 time, like that's all it takes, and then you just kill them instantly, probably.
Yeah, but then they'll probably just roll fate.
Possibly, yeah.
Hey.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a roll real quick here for Min and Yuma to see how they are facing their opponents, and then we'll cut over to Cantarius and Theo, I believe. What is Yuma's? Who has the better sword, I guess is the question.
So it occurs to me that next time Alfons could probably make his own attack because we're not actually doing fight rules. And so he doesn't have to help me. Like, Constantino isn't helping Furio. They're making separate turns. So, and I mean, obviously he was doing other stuff, but.
Yeah. I was going to say they were in separate places doing their own thing before. But yeah, I guess that probably makes sense. It probably would be, I mean, it would make the most sense for you guys to just pair up with one of them. But I assume you guys want to kill Constantino first.
Well, I mean, yeah. Ideally.
But like, let's say Furio stalks over Dellon and starts attacking you. Would you break off your attack against Constantino and focus on him?
I mean, not if I could help it. So I suppose it would depend on how the rolls went.
All right, we'll get there when we get there then, I suppose. Okay. So they both have the same sword skill, but I think Min has more forks. So I'll have him make this roll. So he gets 2 dice from Yuma, 1 die from brawling. And this is, I think, going to be a bloody versus for them. 1 dice from tactics, 1 dice from intimidation. And then, let's see, what other things matter in a bloody versus? I don't know if Min has armor. Does he? I don't have any listed. Oh, he has a midi wound. Oh, that's fun. Forgot in him and Theo's fight with the guards from earlier, they got wounded. Okay, so dividing weapon skills. I think they have basically the same weapon. I think, yeah, they'll probably just have the same stuff. Okay. So 5, 11, 2, 9. Okay. So this is going to be, this is Min and Yuma's attack. Very good. This is Min and Yuma's defense. Very good. And I think,
What do you mean very good?
it was ironic.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll give I think the Inquisitors will have 10 dice to work with because they're not wounded. So this will be their attack. And their defense. Yep. Well, this is bad for them. So so Yuma and Min didn't hit them, and they did hit Min and Yuma. So only by one success, which I think they probably have swords too, so it's probably 2 for an add. So I think, and then they don't have fate; they're just random cards.
Glancing or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's the mark
0.5 times. Yeah, I think mark is the regular one.
Incidental is the name. That's what it is. Okay. City Guard. Let's see what they got. So an incidental for them is 4. So that's a superficial wound for Min, which gives them an additional obstacle penalty, and same, I believe, same for Yuma. Yep. So they're staying more or less par with them. They're just getting nicks and scrapes and stuff that are slowly wearing them down.
Cool. Once again, I'm glad they didn't die.
Yeah, it could have been worse. All right, cool. So Cantarius and Theo. Connor is not at his computer, so I hope he can hear me. But you guys just finished having your big confrontation. You guys are kind of like in the weird, shadowy, flickery demon realm. I think the last shot we got was Cantarius coming and standing over to Theo and like putting a hand on his shoulder, like after Theo was just like, oh man, what just happened? I finally am free from my corruption and faith in dead gods, but now what? So would Theo and Cantarius like have a quick conversation here, or like what would be your immediate next step here?
I don't think Theo would be motivated to say anything unless Cantarius asked him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Cantarius is not here.
Looks like he's getting on from a different.
Oh, hello.
There we go. Connor was switching.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Ezra fell asleep in my arms, so I had to.
Nice.
Come out here.
Yeah. So, did you hear what I was saying?
No. I something about end of the confrontation.
Yeah, we were just picking up with Cantarius and Theo after their confrontation. The last shot we got was Cantarius like putting his hand on Theo's shoulder. Okay. Theo said he wasn't that conversation probably wasn't the next thing on his mind. So I assume we probably just have that moment, and then I think you probably start feeling the like shadowy realm around you start to shake and warp. What would be your initial response, Cantarius? You're probably the one with the more cognizance of what's happening.
What is?
You can tell something is happening. You can tell that's like the realm is starting to react against you. You feel a presence. Kraos is trying to act against you in some way, but you're not sure yet. It's starting to build.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make the roll to leave. I say.
Yeah.
Theo, it's time to go. And I like grab his shoulder and
Yeah.
And I make an intellectual discipline roll to leave the plane. What is the job?
That is a good question.
I grab the poker. Let's go.
Right. What is the what did we do last time for this? Wasn't there a roll here? It's possible we just hand waved it last time because it was like at the end of the whole thing and it wasn't important whether or not you got back, but intellectual. Let's see. Because last time, didn't you give like people a trait that was like the astral form trait where you guys could go like follow a thread to the demon realm and then come back? What was the like?
Yeah, didn't we do that?
I'm trying to remember if like there were absolutely no stakes coming back, like if you could do it automatically.
Well, yeah,
because I think if you, I think it was definitely permanent, at least in like an adventure. I think it was like a scenario or maybe a campaign. I don't remember. It was permanent enough that like it was sticking around for a while. But I think either way, even if there was like if it was like a freebie that you got, I think in this case he's trying to like oppose you directly. And he's like the demon lord, so I think there's still like a versus test then here, or something along those lines. Because he's trying to hold your astral forms here. And I think probably the easiest way to do this is just for me to set an ob based on like how strong this guy is. I'm thinking. Trying to think of. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna say it's an ob 6 test, intellectual discipline test, to like break free from the illusion that he's going to try to impart upon you. That's going to keep you here. So if you fail this roll, it's not going to be you guys are stuck here forever, but there's like an illusion that you'll have to navigate to find your way out, basically. He's trying to like delay you, not keep you here permanently, because I don't think he can do that.
Okay.
Unless he wanted to show himself and attack you, which he doesn't want to do. But if you succeed, then you manage to break free from the images he's sending your way, and you actually find like the fire escape out of this place, right? Yeah. So ob 6, I believe. So you start to see the shadows like start to warp and shift and start to take shape as if it's trying to build like a house or a building around you to keep you encased in this realm. Yeah. And then Cantarius and Theo, what are you guys doing? Like, obviously, Cantarius is going to start like concentrating and try to pull on the thread that's like that leads back to your bodies. But I guess Theo, what are you doing in the meantime when you see all this happening around you? Just like getting ready for a fight, or yeah, you do.
I think he just gets in like a ready to fight stance because he doesn't really know what's going on. That's about it.
All right, Cantarius, what are you doing?
That is the question.
And I think you do have a moment, like it's going to take some time for this illusion to build up. If you wanted to make some sort of link test beforehand, you have a moment to do that if you'd like.
I don't really have much for linked tests in regards to that, except for sensory discipline.
But you can pretty much just fork that. So
what are we doing, Cantarius?
I think the only thing I can fork is sensory. I don't have a lot of forks for leaving the demon realm. But I think I'm going to spend 3 persona on this because if I don't spend 3 persona on this, I might spend more persona trying to get out of this.
Yeah.
Whatever situation we end up in. Is Theo able to help me at all or not really?
It depends. I guess what does Theo have to work with?
Like this, like
yeah.
It's like Theo really doesn't have a lot without like faith in dead gods, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna change that to lost faith, by the way.
You got it, buddy. Why does it change to lost faith? Like, what do you don't roll that, do you?
No, it's just because it doesn't go away. Like your 6 doesn't go away. It's just locked, basically. It's just for us to know you do have a 6 in faith if you can get your faith back, basically.
I succeeded.
Oh, nice. Wow, that was a really good roll.
Yeah. Good job. All my luck from last session's coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think as you're here, and you're starting to pull on this thread and wind your way through, I'm imagining like you're being kind of pulled through. Okay, this is what I'm imagining. I'm imagining you guys, Cantarius, you see the clouds and the darkness and the tendrils of shadow kind of shift around you. And at first you see need to look at.
We don't know this whole thing is going on, right? So we're just gonna like casually walk in there and discover, or we're gonna hear something or something.
Yeah, exactly. When you get back, you're gonna find out there's a fight happening in the other room. But
man, I can't wait to see everybody.
I think we do see an illusion start to form that you're going to break through. What would be? I'm trying to think of something in both of your pasts that like Kraos might try to bring up. Where if you had failed this roll, it would have been a longer sequence of you trying to navigate this like painful thing in your past. But I'm trying to think what would it be, and you guys can decide this if you have thoughts. That you start to see form, but you can break through and get out.
My wife, clearly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So yeah, maybe when we see your wife, and it's like shifting back and forth between your wife in her like deaconess outfit or whatever she used to have, and Achia in her nun dress, right? So it's like they're kind of blending into the same person, and bleeding and broken, and there's a lot of this is going to be a violent episode because I just saw Invincible, right? Like her eyes are bleeding, and it's starting to look very grotesque, and like the way the shadow is shifting and forming, it's as if her body is melting at various points because
what is she saying? Like, why didn't you save me?
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, because that's what he told you. He said, like, you can't save Achia.
Like,
yeah,
trying to mess me up.
Yeah, why didn't you save me? Why didn't you save me, Theo? We could have been happy together. And then Cantarius, what do you see?
Winter dying. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think, did you ever find out that Antonius did it?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
So I don't see Winter dying because I didn't see that.
Well, but maybe Kraos knows.
He knows Winter's dead, though.
Well, I mean, so Eurus, the demon lieutenant, was there when this happened.
Yeah, he was.
So you tell me, Connor, would it be interesting for like Cantarius to see Antonius snap your son's neck, like the actual moment it happened in this demon realm?
Well, it's very clear that it's an accident in real life.
Yeah.
So
maybe instead we just see like Antonius stab him in the back or something.
No, I think it'd be interesting to see the truth, but I don't think Cantarius understands it as the truth.
Right.
Is it so outlandish to him?
Yeah.
He's just like, that's weird. But if the truth does get revealed later.
Sure. Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah, so you see a shadowy Winter, and then his neck snaps. There's like hands that reach out over his face, right? And his neck snaps. And then Winter's body kind of falls into shadow, and it's just Antonius standing there. And then suddenly he's like holding a bloody knife or something. But it's like it quickly passes because you're already tugging on this like white thread that's then pulling you down through the clouds. And again, like this isn't like you're going down into, it wasn't you going down into hell. It's going up into this like dark cloud in the sky, right? So I think we see a moment where there are like black tendrils and clawed hands reaching out from this dark cloud. And we see you two descending on these silver threads, like down to the earth. And it's like this wide shot, and there's like a ray of light that's like shining through the hole that you made when you pull out of the shadow, right? And it's just kind of like framing your descent, like almost as if you're like angels descending from heaven. It's this very cool slow-mo shot with like this epic choral music playing, these tendrils reaching out for you. And then we hard cut and we jump to we see Maria, Dellon's wife. And Maria is there with Vario as her ever-present guard. And she is yelling at Medetto, the new Holy Knight commander. She's yelling, "You don't understand what you're doing, Medetto. If you go through with this, it's over. The war begins again." And then Medetto says, "I have a duty, Lady Tan. I have a duty to see that justice is done. We found spies from Teco in Lucerta. That's truth. That's what happened. I can't cover that up for what? For a lie? For a peace that isn't a peace?" And this is the thing that was happening. If Dellon had been able to go to Medetto and like talk to him as the commander, this would be the situation he could have forestalled. But instead, Maria has to step up and do it. And I'm going to make a roll here to see if Maria can manage to convince him to not go through with this. Basically, he found a bunch of spies that were getting through because of this trade embargo. The trade embargo was lifted, and the king was going to give them a chance, right, to like prove that they had good intentions, and apparently spies.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make that roll for Maria. And depending on how this goes, there'll be a cascading set of events that we'll be flipping through as we get everybody's scenes. So let's see. Medetto has a will of 6. So that's what she's rolling against. Where's Maria? There she is. Okay. Maria has persuasion at 5, and then she's going to fork in. I think she'll fork in command. She reminds Medetto of your authority, right? And that she's speaking for you in absence of you. So that's 1. She will throw in some doctrine and remind him of like, I don't know, Dellon, you decide what would be something she could bring up from doctrine that would, because like basically what she's trying to do right now is get him to not publicly reveal that these spies and like execute them public, because that's what he's about to do, because he's like, this is justice, this needs to be done, like this was bad. Any ideas? If you can't think of anything, that's fine. I just think it's possible that she can't fork this in then. Any reason that covering this up would be a good idea, according to Doctrine?
Yeah, probably not.
Yep, okay, that's what I figured. I was going to say fork and etiquette, but I don't know if she was caring about that when she was talking to him.
Unless you can argue that there's some doubt that they're actually guilty and that you can't just execute them until you know they're guilty because you're murdering them then. But I don't know what the situation would be. Like how for sure they are that they're spies.
I'll let her fork in etiquette for that. Like there's a proper procedure for these things, and you're going past it. So yeah, we can do that. She'll do intimidation, noble wise. Oh no, he's not a noble. Never mind. I think that's it. So Averio, I'm sure, would pipe in and try to help her. So what does he have? He has ugly truth. So we'll have him basically say, Medetto, and he's trying to be careful about this because Averio's kind of like the guy who should have been put in charge of the Holy Knights, and he's trying not to usurp this guy's authority, trying to respect it. But he says, Medetto, if you do this, Ceran is finished. This war will be the end of us, the end of the Teco, the end of the Gulf of Teco. Every nation here will be brought into this fire, and there will be nothing but ashes remaining when the dust settles. So he's going to give her an ugly truth. Die. Actually, you can give her 2, I believe, because he has a 5 in it. Okay, so Ob 6. Here we go. Hey, she did it. That was actually a good roll. All right, cool. So good for the kingdom. It's not going to be so good for something else. I had a branching path here, and we'll see. So Medetto finally gets talked out of it, right? And he says, "Fine, I will wait until we can find out more information. If you're correct that." There are procedures here that need to be followed carefully. I do want to make sure that there's justice, that proper justice is done here. And then Maria nods and says, "Good, thank you, Medetto. I have a feeling that there's something else going on here. We can figure it out together, and this doesn't have to be the way it goes. Just give me some time." And then she and Averio step out. And as they leave his office or wherever they are, we see a shadowed figure, looks like an assassin of some sort, watching her. And then we we go back to Dellon and Alfons. So I assume you're just going to keep fighting Constantino?
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
I think what happens first is Furio is going to try to intercept you, Dellon. And is there a role he can make here to just like get you to fight him?
Well, and especially because now Alphonse is also here. So I just want to make sure someone is keeping Constantino from melting people.
Sure.
Because that's concerning.
So is this a role, or can he just like threaten you and then you turn and face him instead?
Yeah. Well, so
because I was thinking maybe he like steps up to you, grabs you by the arm, and like throws you like away from Constantino, so that he's like trying to like get between you and Constantino.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that would be, I suppose, if he's trying to physically impede me, that's one thing he could do. I guess my other question was, based on how we're doing the mechanics here, if it's just like intent versus intent, he attacks me and I attack him back, and then I do something, then I would attack him back when he attacks me and attack Constantino when it's my turn. But I don't know exactly I don't know if that's how that works.
Probably not. I think it's just easier for everyone if Dellon fights Furio and Alphonse fights Constantino.
Okay.
But if you need like a mechanical reason for that to happen, then I'm happy rolling that.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I can just fight him.
Okay. So I think probably what happens, right, is you feel a big beefy arm on your back, right? And you have to turn to like, make sure you're not being stabbed by him,
right?
Or whatever. Yeah. And so Alphonse, I'm imagining maybe it's Alphonse and Dellon back to back, and they're on either side surrounded by Furio and Constantino, just trying to, they're helping each other if they need to, but like facing different enemies. So let's just have Furio attack you and see how it goes.
Okie dokie.
All right, so he is going to roll. Oh, I forgot. He has a crossbow.
Oh.
Okay, here's a question. What if he just like stayed at a distance and tried to shoot you, Dellon?
Sure. I don't know how ranged weapons work in this game.
I know.
We shot a bow once. Okay, cool. Go for it.
Ranged absolutely sucks against armor, just so you know.
Well, crossbow probably has a decent VA, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think crossbow has a decent VA.
It's different than bow.
I think he has a loaded crossbow. Like he can get one shot off before like he just tosses it to the side. So that I was gonna say, basically what I'm saying is if he shoots the crossbow at all, it would just be now, and then maybe he tosses it to the side. What do we think makes more sense?
It's fine with me.
I feel like that might be fun.
Sure.
Just to see him.
I don't do anything about that, right? He just shoots at me.
He just shoots you. Yeah, I believe so. I'll check, but let's see.
I mean, if there was something I could do, I'm not looking at him, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Let's see. Shooting your opponent. Oh, right. Yeah. The obstacle is just based on range and stuff. We've been doing this a whole bunch for one of the new play-by posts we've been doing. They have separate obstacles that are just determined by range and stuff.
Yeah, I figured.
So let's see. He's in optimal range. There's no reason he wouldn't be. That's base ob 2. I don't think there's any cover. You don't have a shield, do you?
Even if I did, I wouldn't be using it against him, but I don't think I do.
Yeah. There's no like cover in between you two. Let's see.
Hopefully his crossbow skill isn't very high.
It's not as high as his sword, certainly.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to face your sword if he does his crossbow. So
right.
Okay, I'm just checking. Weather, terrain, light. I don't think any of that matters. You're literally in a room, so it's just ob 2, I think. Ob 2 crossbow. But then your armor comes into play, and then the die of fate for how much damage it actually does comes into play.
Right.
Okay, so he can get a fork for hunting. Night wise, Dellon Ton wise, and battle wise. So his ob is 2. He obviously gets it. And then the amount of successes he gets over adds to, he gets a +2 to the die of fate.
Okay.
So it's easier for him to get a good hit on this because he got so many successes over.
That's probably the part we were missing when we were doing it with.
I think so.
Yeah, because it seemed a little random when Jared was shooting, but that makes more sense.
Oh no, I did actually figure that out. There's a difference. There's a difference between missile weapons and thrown weapons, and Sorcerous Fire acts as a thrown weapon, where your power determines the hit, but the Die of Fate determines if it's incidental, mark, or superb.
Oh, okay.
So that's the difference there. It's random that way, but the actual damage isn't random.
Gotcha.
It's based on your power, or in that case, the perception, because it's like magic.
Right.
Okay, cool. So, where's Die of Fate? Fury up. Die of Fate. So he gets a +2 to whatever this is. So that's good for him because that would have been useless otherwise. So that's a 4. For a, I think he has a heavy crossbow. I'll double check. He has. Yeah, I don't have one listed here, but I think it would be heavy. Let me check. Here we go. Weapons appendix. Yeah, I think heavy crossbow. Okay, so he has. He will do a B9 wound on you if he manages to hit.
Great.
So Dellon, go ahead and make that armor roll. Let me check the VA after I've just pulled down the thing that I was looking at. Heavy crossbow has a VA of 3.
Wow. Okay.
You know what? I'll be nice to you. Let's. I think I don't actually have a crossbow on his sheet. He didn't buy one, but I think it's fine for Constantino to have given him one. But let's just say it's a regular crossbow, in which case it would do a BA wound if it hits you, and it's a VA of 2.
Okay. Wait.
So if you roll on the armor. Oh, actually, where do you want him to hit you?
The torso, I suppose. I don't know if it matters.
Oh, wait a second. Actually, I think it might be different for missile weapons. Where you get hit. Let me check.
I don't know that it matters. I think I have the plate armor everywhere. So I don't think it really matters so much.
If for missile weapons, the target location is always considered the chest.
Okay.
Unless like you're behind a wall or whatever.
Oh, wait a minute. You get more dice for torso. I forgot about that.
You do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why torso is better.
Okay. So
but he can move successes to move the location of the hit.
Does that reduce his bonus to the Die of Fate roll?
He only needed to get to double the obstacle to get that +2, which he did with getting a 4. So he has successes to spare. Cool. So yeah, he has 2 extra successes. So I think he's aiming for your head.
Okay.
So, yep.
I was really ready for that to not work after everybody else has passed.
Well, it didn't work because he has a VA of 2. Remember?
Yeah, and I got 2.
No, because it's the base obstacle is 1. VA adds to it.
Okay, gotcha.
So if you want to spend for future reference, Dellon, you can just roll this from your armor itself. It has a little button you can press on your armor itself, and then it asks for the VA of it and does all the math for you. But if you would like to spend a fate to reroll one of those traders, you can. Nice. Oof. Yep. Yeah, that was a good call there. So you get it gets warded off. Did you get a 1? Nope, you didn't get a 1. Nice. So the helmet deflects the blow and doesn't get any damage done. So
nice.
So the crossbow shot goes off. It glances off your helmet, and then you like turn, and he's like charging at you, and he's thrown the crossbow down and is charging at you. But Alfons, what are you doing? Or no, actually, let's have Constantino do something. Because we're kind of going back and forth here. So Constantino is going to try to punch you, Alfons, I think.
Let's go.
Oh no. Actually, I forgot what he was going to try to do. He has the Ember shard in his hand, and instead he's going to shove the shard closer to your chest and try to do something.
Oh, okay.
To like get it to work again, right? To try to get it to mind control you again. He's hoping that the vicinity will let it activate better. So he's going to make a physical discipline roll. Let me see how this works. Okay. So he's trying to basically do his weird magic surgery again. Yeah, maybe he's trying to give you a trait, which is like, the equivalent of possessed or something, right? Like he's just trying to force it to activate permanently, as opposed to the trait he gave you before, which was like he could force you to make a will test. So I think he's going to try to just like up it and make you permanently under his thrall. Because before he wanted it to be a secret.
Can it be ob 5 or 6 at least?
I was going to suggest that exact ob actually.
Perfect.
So physical discipline. I think let's make it 6. He can fork in alchemy, anatomy, astrology.
Oh wait, do I roll against that or in defend?
No, this is not a defend.
Ah, dang it.
Sorry.
Never mind, that doesn't even matter then. I need one difficult will challenge.
If he fails to do this, then you'll basically get like a free hit on him, right? Like he's not defending necessarily. Or if he is, he's defending poorly. Because he's trying to do this instead. Let's see. He can do taxidermy. And that's it. Okay, so his ob is 6.
Holy nuts.
That was a lot of 6s. A lot of 6s. Yeah, so he got 11 successes. So, Alfons, your eyes glaze over, and you are now under his control. He like breathes a sigh of relief, and he says, I spent all of that time, and it didn't even work. Well, now it's working. And he turns to you, Dellon, and he says, and now you're in a deep load of, yeah. He's angry. He's like cursing at you. And Dellon, you now are surrounded on either side by your brother and Furio. And real quick, I really have to go to the bathroom. So how about we take a quick break? I know we don't usually do these days, but let's take a quick 5-minute break. And then when we come back, we will return with more Crow Inquisitors and figure out what's going on. In just a second. Be back in a moment.